Every high-speed industrial site operates on a razor's edge. An OSHA 30 card is the proof that you can manage that risk, rather than simply becoming part of it. On the shop floor, advanced safety knowledge is the dividing line between a management promotion and a preventable, catastrophic injury. Modern production lines move incredibly fast. Between complex new technology and massive liability risks, management cannot afford to put a supervisor in charge who lacks formal safety authority. Today, we are stripping away the government jargon to give you a straight-talk roadmap of the OSHA 30 General Industry course. Understanding the specific rules of this credential is the first step toward protecting your crew's lives and securing your own career growth. The confusion starts with a technicality. The federal government, specifically the Department of Labor, classifies this grueling 30-hour training program as voluntary, but the actual job market tells a different story. Out on the floor, site owners and hiring managers treat it as a rigid prerequisite for any leadership position. This disconnect creates traps for applicants. Without clear federal mandates, people often guess which version of the course they need, and many guess wrong. Choose the wrong path, and you have wasted a full week of your time and hundreds of dollars on a credential your employer cannot accept. Navigating the maze of safety certifications is now just as critical as navigating the physical hazards of the factory floor. Relying strictly on that federal voluntary label leads to predictable outcomes, being turned away at the job site gate or passed over for promotion. Many jurisdictions have already written this requirement into law. Nevada, for example, explicitly mandates this training for workers in entertainment and cannabis operations. Even in states without specific laws, major employers and general contractors enforce OSHA 30 through non-negotiable private contracts. If it's in the contract, it's a requirement for entry. Local city ordinances frequently override federal guidelines. Cities like New York and Philadelphia enforce mandatory training rules directly through their local permitting processes. Skipping the course saves you about $150 in the short term, but it limits your long-term career mobility and facility access. Voluntary is a technical label. In practice, market forces and local laws have made the OSHA 30 card a standard requirement for leadership. Once you commit to training, you face a major hurdle, selecting between two distinct OSHA 30 industry pathways. The first pathway is OSHA 30 construction, governed by the 29 CFR 1926 standard. This specific standard applies to traditional building, renovation, demolition, and infrastructure projects. The second pathway is OSHA 30 General Industry, governed by the 29 CFR 1910 standard. General industry covers sectors outside of construction, such as manufacturing, warehousing, and logistics. It also applies to environments like healthcare and sanitation, where industrial hazards still exist. Mastering the general industry curriculum qualifies you for a warehouse lead position, but that credential has no standing if you step onto a demolition site. Matching your daily work environment to the correct standard, 1910 versus 1926, is the single most critical decision you must make before spending a dime. Earning this credential requires roughly 30 hours of study time, usually spread over 4 or more days, and costs between $150 and $300. While OSHA 10 provides basic awareness, OSHA 30 requires triple the time to build advanced oversight. You study handling of bloodborne pathogens, hazardous materials communication, and workplace ergonomics. Practically, the course teaches lockout-tagout procedures, outlining the exact sequence to isolate a machine's energy source. These systems require extra operational steps that slow down the floor, but following them guarantees a machine won't unexpectedly energize and cause a fatality. Completing this curriculum results in receiving the official Department of Labor wallet card. Enduring 30 hours of dense material is a tough commitment. However, it is the proof required to show employers that you possess advanced hazard analysis skills. Let's filter out exactly who should make this investment and who should stay on their current path. Entry-level workers who only need basic hazard awareness should save their time and take the standard 10-hour course instead. But for foremen, safety committee members, and anyone aiming for management in manufacturing or healthcare, this course is essential. This career ladder maps the path to supervisory roles. Because this credential is often a mandatory requirement in project contracts, it ensures your application meets the specific criteria for titles like warehouse lead or plant manager. Holding the card demonstrates to site owners that you are prepared to manage the liability of running a complex facility. For those willing to put in the work, the DOL card provides a direct return, shifting a worker from an hourly laborer to a salaried leader. Managing a safe shop floor is a high-level leadership discipline. It protects the organization from heavy compliance fines while ensuring the physical safety of every person on the clock. Take control of your career path. Step up to lead a safer, more efficient shop floor. For more straight talk breakdowns on industrial safety, subscribe to the HSEstudy YouTube channel right now. Equipping yourself with the right knowledge is the only way to advance your career while ensuring your crew goes home alive.